learning from this as well. So to start off, I call Ayan Banerjee, who is the head of Physical Sciences. Please mute, people who are not speaking, please mute your microphones. So, Sourav Kumar, please mute your microphone.
I think you can mute it, Sangeeta, in case he is not being able to hear. From your end, as the host, you can mute. Somebody who is the host can mute.
I don't think I am the host.
Okay, so whoever is the admin,
I am not the host.
Yeah. Possibly not aware. Anyway, so yeah.
Anyway, so thank you, Professor Ayan Banerjee, for agreeing to inaugurate this conference. You can.
Prashant, you can probably host. You can probably
log in.
Somebody who's still not muted. Okay, so should we start?
Yes, Professor Banerjee, please.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so as okay, so this screen sharing is disabled at the moment, in which case I cannot be present. I had a few slides, so can this be enabled?
Professor, tell us who the host is. Is it one of the students?
Yeah, so whoever is hosting, can you just enable me to? Somebody who's still not muted.
Hey, Ayan, your co-host.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes. But you can make it full screen?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, it's there. Okay, so I really think this to be a very, very pleasant duty indeed and honor that I've been asked to inaugurate this. And I think it's, quite natural that this, this thing is, this workshop QIQT has been running for the last, I guess, 3 years, if I'm not wrong, Prashant. And I think it has seen a lot of presence from students, across the country and maybe few people even from abroad, I guess. And since this is something that our illustrious member, faculty member Prasanta is handling, so I think DPS has to be involved, and we are really, really proud of this affair. I just will present a few words to you regarding, DPS, where we have reached today in 2022. Knowing that, of course, we are the, IISER, of course, the IISER Kolkata. IISER Kolkata is the oldest IISER. It is ahead of IISER Pune by just a few days. But DPS stands out among IISER Kolkata because the first class in the IISER system, the flagship program has always been our 5-year BSMS program, and that was taken by a DPS faculty member, one of our colleagues, Professor Anand. And we have set sort of the bar about teaching, at least in physics in IISER, as far as IISER is concerned. We actually attract the best students in the BSMS category, and I actually have quantitative data to prove that. I'm not showing it here, but we have actually seen that students with the highest grade point average, they are the ones who actually opt for physics. we have very, very good placement records. I'll just share with you. And our publication
Excuse me, sir.
has, hello?
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
Is your voice not clear?
Voice is not clear.
Naushad, please check your connection because it's clear to me.
Yeah.
It's clear to me
Sir,
too.
your voice is clear, sir. But
Okay, so I can't really help too much. I guess I'm just, I have the connection
Actually
that I
clear
have.
to us. Ayan, it is clear to us.
Yeah,
Maybe.
okay, so let me just continue. Okay, so just as QIQT, I think, occurred even during the pandemic, GPS also has been performing quite well, even when the world was probably shut down predominantly during the last 2 years of this very strange pandemic that enveloped us. And that is probably because a lot of our facilities have been developed in-house, and especially in the experiments. And again, we take a lot of pride in this, so that we do not depend too much on other people that are outside IISER for our experimental work, which many of our faculty colleagues have actually developed here. And I'll again just briefly show you that. So before we go on into telling a little more about ourselves, I will just present you the family, GPS family, which is presently 32 faculty members. We have about 8 postdocs, 300 students, and a support staff of 8. We've been growing. I'll bite a little bit slowly, I would say, in terms of faculty strength. The last 3 years, we have students have been mostly constant. That also actually has been at DPS in IISER Kolkata. So this is what I really want to share with all of you, people who are, we have students, we have a lot of illustrious faculty. I saw RP, I saw Kailash, so Professor Rustagi, so I'm sure you've seen this. So these are things we have actually developed in-house, and you can see that there are lots of very interesting, these are mostly in condensed matter and as well as in optics. For example, this is a this magneto or transport measurements that is set up by partner Mitro. This low temperature ESR, this is the theory set up, and this is especially interesting because there is a commercial setup such as this at IIT Kharagpur, I guess, and that costs about I would say about 6 crores, I think. And whereas I think Chiranjeev has developed this for about maybe less than a crore or something. This is again a low temperature PL and photoluminescence and ultra fast pump probes stuff, which Professor Bipul Pal has developed. Nirmal, my very good friend and one of the best people in polarization optics in the country, maybe internationally, he won the Gabriel Stokes Award very recently. He has this unique, dark field polarization and fluorescence spectroscopic millimetric setup, which is unique in the country. We have, ourselves, we have, an optical research lab where we have this completely indigenous method of controlling microbubbles with optical users. We can write Kamaraju Natrajan has developed all this, and you see on the left is Professor Bansal's stuff. We've actually set up a 35 Tesla capability magneto photoluminescence setup, and this 35 Tesla pulse magnet is again something that is unique. It's not available anywhere else in the country. So these are all developed completely in-house. A lot of manpower training. Much of this, of course, I'm sure, is being funded by DST. So thanks for DST, Professor Rustagi, I'm sure is listening. So. Okay, so then about our faculty. So we have, almost all the branches of physics are represented, and astrophysics, cosmology, and optics and spectroscopy quantum systems. Prasanta is a part of this. So these are, these number of faculty members are sort of equally shared in these two. And then we have complex systems, study of life, I would say. There's my experiments you want to go here, there's my theory as well. And high energy physics, these are some areas we'd like to go. Of course, optics, is also something we'd really like to go, and quantum information as well. This is very important. This is what department really stands for, because you're publishing. So as you see, since our inception, sorry, this is actually last 3 years. This is very important because this was the height of the pandemic time, And we've published like 500 papers in the, like, citations about 14.4, which is very, very high. And this is where I want to move in a bit into this and say that this is the 2019, there's no pandemic. And you can see that 20 and 21, we have absolutely not allowed the pandemic to, really influence us at all. And our standards publication service have sort of remained as they were during the pre-pandemic times. This is, I think, pretty impressive. And we've been publishing in very, very good journals. 2021 itself, we've had a science paper. Malo, in collaboration with Professor Banerjee of chemistry, they made these, very unique shape healing sort of materials, piezoelectric materials, published in Science. I think one of the biggest things in the country, I would say, the scientific research in the country. We have 2 nanoletters, PRLs, MNRAs, APL. So these are like the best possible journals in physics. We keep on publishing there. And as a result, of course, our faculty get pretty nicely honored. I will not go into all these. Reds are the ones that have been done last year. We can see that Banerjee is like, he's really one of the top solar physicists of the country, probably even internationally, very, very well known. Nirmalo is an IIS fellow right now. Just, I think, end of last year, he was elected as an IIS fellow. And so, people have been noticing us, and our students, of course, also have been doing very, very well. As we had won, the Rhodes. This is the first batch itself from that graduated out of DPS. They, Rhodes Scholar, Oxford, Cambridge, that Clarendon, SP we get regularly from DPS, and placement, of course, there's no university in the world that is left. But most of the best universities have some representation of DPS, and we get our students qualify CSIR almost every year. PMRF has been introduced very, very recently, and even there, 4 of our students are. Every year we have a couple or one at least who get the PMRF. SPIE, those who are in optics know that this is a very, very empowering sort of fellowship for students. And of course, our PhD students get Humboldt and Marie Curie and all kinds of things. And our PhD students have also got placed at IITs. I have my student, Batudev, as is at IIT Madras. We have Chiranjeev student at MIT Student, where IIT Gandhinagar, we had Professor Banerjee student, Varun. So this is quite well, I guess, and of course the world notices us, as a result of which our faculty get media attention. The Venu has features probably once every month or something because of his exploits in solar physics. Our work in ultra small particles, quasars, would actually go below the diffraction limit in terms of absorption spectroscopy. Nirmalo's self-healing material stuff with Malla was very, very popular among the science media in the world. So as we see that, we are kind of, we are just a 13-year-old department, I guess, we made actually 2009 DPS. And in that, just a decade and a half of our presence in science, I think we have sort of made our mark. Of course, we are growing. And I think it's these conferences or these workshops, such as QIQT, which attract so large a number of students that really would really help us in going along our paths even more solidly. And as you see, the dark stuff is, physics is dominated by all this dark matter, exotic matter, dark energy, and DPS indulges in that, except for probably the dark arts. I hope, we would go further in this coming year. And I'm sure QIQT would be actually participating, helping us in going even further. And I extend my best wishes to this workshop. I hope it, possibly next year it can be done maybe offline. It would be excellent. And then online, I think it's working very well. And I wish it all the best. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm done.
Thank you, Professor Banerjee, for a very nice inauguration. So, Professor Sourav, are you here? Actually, there are so many participants, it's very difficult to search.
He said he will join from the road. You can just ask. He was supposed to join from his mobile.
Okay, so we'll just pause for a few minutes and
No,
I'll
I can
find-
see he's there.
Otherwise, you can-
I can see he's there.
Okay.
He's unmuted. And yeah, I think that's far is coming.
Oh, Professor Pal, if you are there, can you?
Yeah, he's there. You can
Please
see by the participant list, right? Professor Pal, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Can we-
Now I can hear you.
I'm
Yes.
actually connecting from mobile from IISER
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
in a building. And,
So you're
yes,
at
a new
IISER,
building,
are you?
but, there is only one room where others are sitting, and no other room is open yet that I
So
can.
you're at
occupy.
IISc.
I'm practically in the kind of corridor.
IISc, are you? Where did you say
There'll be
you
a
were?
little bit of a noise, but I'll try to manage. So should I start?
Yeah.
Yes, Professor Pal. So I'm happy
When
to
should I start?
ask Pal, who is the director of our institute, to introduce this program and our institute to the participants.
Yeah. So just give me a minute. Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Professor Pal, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay, fine, fine. So I'm not able to hear you people very clearly, but as long as you can hear me, I'm okay. All right, so I think let me welcome you all for this QIQT workshop, which is something that we have done last year, and I think we are very proud to host it again. I have to welcome, of course, Professor Kailash Rustagi and Dr. Venu Gopal from the NPL, Director NPL, as chief guest for this function. Professor Prasanta Panigrahi, of course, on the behalf of Department of Physics, is conducting it. And I think there's a very able team of volunteers who are going to conduct this workshop. So there are a lot of people who will be joining over the course of the workshop. So if there is any problem for the participants, please let us know. We'll try to make it easier. It is going to be an online workshop, first of all. Let me also say that while giving some of these details, that this workshop of quantum information and quantum technology, the QIQT, is a very important theme where the government is also engaged, and IISER Kolkata is one of the major partners in the quantum technology or physics department. And I'm very happy that Professor Ayan Banerjee has already given a kind of overview of the department activities, what the department is doing, the major facilities. And I think we are poised to go to the next level of research in physics. This quantum information and quantum technology, I do not have to tell you the importance of this. I mean, the importance of this is not just on the quantum computers, but the information processing itself is going to be tremendously benefited in many other sectors, not only in the high performance computer. Those who are users of the high performance computers like me and many others are of course very fondly waiting for the big quantum computers to come. But I know that realizing quantum computer is still a dream. A quantum computer which is really powerful, which will beat the present generation supercomputers, is still a little bit away. But I'm happy that people are advancing in terms of number of qubits that they're putting together in building these quantum computers. And I think a lot will be discussed on how quantum information, starting from the superposition of principle, how the quantum information has spread, and then eventually how the qubits because of the superposition is going to be expanded. But the real challenge is not just in the physics. I must remind all of you that the physics is, of course, one part of it, where certainly entangled states is going to play a very important role. But the real challenge is an engineering challenge of device, making those qubit computers or the quantum information. So there is a lot of engineering challenge. And I think we have to work together, the physicists with the engineers, to make this realize. So I think this is really a big challenge globally. And I'm very happy that in India, we are also putting in a lot of money. We are putting in a lot of resources to make the quantum information and quantum technology realizable. In fact, this is one of the major thrust areas. In fact, last year, I remember I had organized one Vaibhav workshop where the government wanted that people of Indian origin who are abroad would actually join the faculties within India or the staff scientists from within India in certain key areas where we can contribute. So one of the key areas was actually the quantum technology. And I think along with artificial intelligence, machine learning, the QIQT is going to play a very important role in the technology space, where physics, of course, is a key player because the concepts of quantum mechanics is being brought in, and something that was not understood when quantum mechanics itself started in 100 years back. I think nobody really nobody could actually foresee the kind of advances in terms of technology that the basic quantum mechanics will make. I mean, we all were enamored with the quantum entangled states, which is so much non-classical, and the superposition and probabilistic theory and so on. But I think the technological advantages that this is going to give has been lately realized. And I'm very happy that there is a large gathering of people who are actually working all over the world now. And this is exactly what happens when the basic science starts as a fundamental science without any pretense of technology. And then after a few years, or after maybe 50 years, 100 years, people start to realize the importance of their basic science. I mean, we all know that. In many cases, we quote that when the basic science was done, nobody bothered about technology. Nobody bothered about translation. People did for their own pleasure, many of them. But today we see that how basic science can be translated into technology. And I think this is where I feel very good that even a subject like quantum mechanics, which was purely fundamental subject, has become a part of technology today, the quantum technology. So I believe the QIQT workshop will throw lights on the fundamental aspects of quantum mechanics, as well as on the technological aspects. The people who are actually working on the qubits, I think it's very, very important to hear them, what they have to say. And of course, the precision that it is going to bring, the precision and the power in terms of computing that it is going to give is just phenomenal. So I wish this workshop will bring together many of these topics, and I see great number of speakers who are lined up, many students who will be participating. I only wish there is a kind of interaction that is possible, as much as possible through the online mode. And I'm sure Professor Panigrahi will be there, and our entire physics team, Professor Ayan Banerjee, and all others who will be helping, the process. But I just wish that there should be ample time for interactions even in the online mode. I think with these few remarks, I'm very happy to kind of inaugurate this workshop hosted by IISER Kolkata. And thank you all, and I hope you'll have good time. I will have my own lecture sometime later during this workshop. But at this point, I'm very happy to inaugurate the workshop, and IISER Kolkata takes pride in organizing this second year in a row. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Pal, for your very encouraging words and best wishes. Our next speaker at the inaugural session is Professor Kailash Rustagi from IIT Bombay. So, Professor Rustagi?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. And if I may share my screen. Can you see that now?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can see
yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you please make it full screen?
Yeah, I can. Okay. So, good morning, everybody, and very happy to be talking to you. I presume I am called to talk at this workshop. You know, I don't work in this area, but I'm the chair of Program Advisory and Management Committee of West, which is the DST run multi-institutional program on quantum enabled science and technology. And this program has about outlay of about 200 crores rupees. It has about 50 projects divided in 4 themes, and it runs for 3 years. Now, this actually started in 2017, the activity. The funding really came in 2020. So we are about a year and a half from there. And the aim, the output that we expect.
Today, because of this COVID, now people have learned that wherever you can connect. Old days, I am in Bangalore, so I can't contact people. No further negotiation. Then Panigrahi will say, okay, you can come online. Then you can't say no, but they don't realize that it's not always easy.
Sorry, Professor Rustagi, please continue.
Okay. So what we expect is that at the end of these 3 years, we'll have some important lab developments, some component developed, some facilities developed, and some small processors also developed with 4 qubits or possibly 8 qubits at the end of these 3 years. More important, we expect something like 100 PhDs at the end of 5 years of the start of this project, both in theory and experiment. And this program is a precursor to a bigger expected program, which is hopefully coming soon. It was announced in the budget in 2020. This will be about 8,000 crores spread over 7-8 years, and will involve all the science and technology departments, including ST, Department of Atomic Energy, DRDO, and Space Department. The aim of this is to place India in the front row. So obviously, we are talking about a very ambitious program. And the key to this are workshops like what Professor Panigrahi has been organizing. And I think I should say this, that actually I got to know about him some 15 plus years, 17, 18 years ago, when one of our bright undergraduate students joined him for an internship, which actually resulted in a nice paper on quantum information. So he is a pioneer in this business, and I look forward to it. But I must caution you, this is a very, very popular subject. There is a lot of hype. And I quote one of the pioneers in this business, Shankar Das Sharma has been a big contributor in the area. And this is one of his recent pieces from which I've taken this quote. This is about the hype. See, there's a lot of hype about this will become these many $1 billion worth of things, these many $1 trillion worth of things, etc., etc. I think we have to be cautious. And I will not read it out. I leave it for you to read. But the main point is that we have to be cautious. We have to be solid about what we say and do. don't quote other people saying that this will be, or so and so said, or Google is putting this much money, or IBM is putting this much money. These things mean nothing. What means is how much progress can we make, how far, how realistic can we make it, and when. So these small steps we must take, and not just go on a hyper speech. The second caution I want to make is that this is another important thing. Normally we measure, so many people are working in this, so many people are citing, so many people are writing. There is a very serious study done last year in 2020-21. They analyzed 1.8 billion citations of among 90 million papers across 241 subjects. And what it tells is that the number of papers is not indicative of the growth of the field. Why? Because actually these papers multiply in such a way that they seem to solidify known things again and again and again, and not actually allow sufficient disruptive new ideas. So one has to be careful. I'm generally very optimistic that these things will work out well. And we have to try many things, some of which will fail, some of which will generate actual devices and actual technology. But, this is how science goes. If 1 out of 10 things that we try results in something useful, we should be very, very happy. Even if 1 in 100 things works out well, it is quite good, because the pyramid of knowledge keeps building, and that is how science always progresses. With this few words, I would like to wish you all a great workshop, and above all, enjoy the workshop. One of the fun things in science is that you make lots of people who are all very bright, and you learn a lot from them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Rustagi.
Thank you, Professor Rustagi, for really inspiring and cautionary words. Our next speaker now is Professor Venu Gopal Achanta, who is Director of CSIR National Physics Laboratory. Yes.
Right. Good morning, Professor Rustagi, Professor Sourav, Professor Panigrahi, Professor Ayan, Banerjee, all speakers, organizers, and the audience. I'm happy to be here. QIQT is important because, as Professor Rustagi mentioned already, we have this huge initiative, Quest initiative, for which manpower training is very important. So QIQT and other workshops where training of students is of primary importance, is of very significance, when very high significance in the community, so that we have trained manpower as well as people to actually identify and take forward the new paths in the research in these areas, right? So, as coming from NPL, I would like to stress on quantum metrology. In 2019, world over, there are new definitions of the 7 primary SI units, whether it's kilogram or second or the resistance or voltage, current, all these things. So there are new definitions which are based on quantum standards. They're all linked to the universal constant, so that the uncertainties are minimized. So for any country, any economy to grow, we need good metrology standards in the country. These are the primary standards which are established in national metrology institutes in the country. So every country has one designated national metrology institute. For example, for India, NPL is the National Metrology Institute. We all heard of NIST in US, or PTB in Germany, or NPL in UK. So similarly, NPL India is the National Metrology Institute of India, and where we are working on setting up these primary standards, whether it's single photon metrology, how to detect these single photons, how to characterize them, the detectors for that. So, and also setting up single photon emitters. So this is the kind of work which we are carrying out at NPL. It's not any one group or one person leading a small team is going to achieve whatever is required for this quantum information technologies, to realize this technology for quantum information. So we need to have more collaborative research. Government is indeed pumping in lots of money. We miss the bus of semiconductors. We rue about it as scientists, saying that as a citizens of this country and more than scientists, like we keep saying that, oh, we miss the semiconductor bus and all these things. But from the government point of view, there is sufficient money. A lot of money has been pumped into each of these things. I mean, just look at the solar technologies, thousands of crores has been pumped in, but nothing came out. So as scientists, it's not just our rights demanding for more money and getting hundreds of crores of money to write in our CVs, but we also have responsibilities in delivering what we promise to do. If not, like, so as scientists, we lose our credibility, and policymakers also, it becomes very difficult for them to believe, trust, and put in more money into futuristic activities, which will take time and effort from each one of us. The main point I want to stress is, like, yes, I mean, we need to deliver what we're promising on. So this is something which we should all be practicing and inculcating in our daily life, right? So the technologies for quantum information is very promising. This is one area, like, so where we can put our country at the forefront of the technological developments across the world. So it's our responsibility, as well as our own intellectual curiosity, to work in this field and develop this field in the country, both for the sake of the nation as well as for putting our science, Indian science, at the forefront in the world, right? So for this, as I mentioned already, QIQT and other workshops are very important and interesting. So I wish QIQT will continue in future years, like the last 3 years. It will continue in future as well, and train students and bring in experts so that we can interact with them to identify problems, to nurture collaboration, so that we can take this area of research forward in the country. Okay. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Professor Achanta, for your words regarding the subject and also related information. So now we conclude our inaugural ceremony with a vote of thanks by Professor Prasanta Panigrahi, the convener for our school, QIQT 2022, which is about to start.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Am I audible?
Yes.
So before I give thanks, I would like to remind all of the participants that whatever stream you are coming from, as Professor Pal pointed out and Professor Venu pointed out, everybody can actually learn and contribute something to this area, because that is one thing you learn early on, that this subject is so broad that starting from mathematicians to statistics to engineers, everybody truly can contribute. Even not with very high degree, like something like even BTech, BSc students also, if you are familiar with vectors, matrices, you can actually contribute in a very non-trivial way. Therefore, please have some patience. Some of these things you may not understand. And this year we have emphasized on light, followed by a researcher's meet, which are basically the results of previous years of QIQT. Many students like you have taken up this thing, published papers, so they are going to present their ideas. And many of them have gone to many schools abroad. And thanks to them, we have gotten connected with good speakers abroad, primarily because of our students. Therefore, first of all, I request all the young participants to have patience, because if you don't understand everything, don't worry. You can still contribute and do some meaningful work. And as Professor Pal pointed out, some simple things like measurement, collapse of the wave function, that they can generate technology like quantum Q distribution, teleportation. It was unheard of. We physics people were all busy in having EPR paradox, but engineers came and took it and make it technology. Now you see every day in the newspaper you see some item or other about quantum Q distribution, and many of the speakers here are actually from optics side doing experiment and theory. We will get to know about these things more later. So conference of this size, is online conference, but you have some speakers and good students who are participating. So first of all, I'm really thankful to the speakers. We have sort of taken liberty with them in asking for convenient time for us. So they have agreed. So we are really thankful to the speakers and the participants who have been quite patient. And this kind of thing would not be possible without full cooperation from the institute. I'm truly thankful to Professor Pal, who